Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video today. It's not like a big episode of Doctor Who dropped, and whilst I did explain a lot of the plot and stuff like that, I wanted to go through each of the cameos which completely blew everyone's mind, judging by Twitter, and just kind of explain who these people are, because to some fans they might not know certain companions that had a cameo, or might not fully know who this actor was who played a certain incarnation of the Doctor, which appeared in this massive episode. So, with that being said, let's have a look now at various screen grabs of these cameos and talk about who they are and what relevance they add to the story. So, yeah, let's get into this cameo fill explanation video. Okay, so obviously, in this afterlife sequence, where Jodie Whittaker's Doctor is, well, she meets like an apparition of herself that morphs between various incarnations, and the first one is played none other than David Bradley, who is playing the first Doctor, who was originally played by William Hartnell, which is amazing to see him back. He's doing the iconic first Doctor pose as well with the robes. It was brilliant, superly well done. And seeing David Bradley back as well is amazing. He recaptures William Hartnell's performance as the first Doctor brilliantly, and to see him interacting with the 13th Doctor is just superb. I really liked how they did that. The next one is the 5th Doctor, which, wow, didn't expect that one. The 5th Doctor, if you can tell by this tiny little screen grab here, if I can zoom in a little bit more. But yeah, the 5th Doctor, played by Peter Davison, who was the main Doctor for when Tegan was in the TARDIS. And obviously, they had a little bit of an awkward encounter in this episode, well, with Jodie's Doctor. And it was very nice touch that the AI interface, which was attached to Tegan, morphed into a face which he remembered very well, and that is of Peter Davison's. And seeing him back in his iconic costume was beautiful. It was beautiful. The hat, the jackets, the celery. It was beautiful. It was beautiful, and such a well done moment. And then next we have the 6th Doctor, played by Colin Baker, who I've got to say just looks amazing. Seeing him back in the role is just, after not seeing him fully regenerate, and obviously Sylvester McCoy having to wear his wig in Time and Rani, it's so nice to see Colin Baker return and give some advice to the current Doctor, which again is amazing. The 6th Doctor, whilst didn't have a companion to speak to, it was just nice to see him give advice to the current Doctor. And speaking of returning Doctors, we have the return of the 7th Doctor, played by Sylvester McCoy, who was the Doctor for Ace. And obviously Ace as well, just like Tegan, had a bit of an awkward breakup with the Doctor. Obviously not a romantic breakup, but in terms of leaving the TARDIS. They had an argument off screen, and that led to Ace departing the TARDIS. And again, just like with the situation with Tegan, the Doctor is able to reappear with a familiar face to Ace and, kind of apologise for everything that had happened. And they get to, I guess, forgive each other and move on and offer advice for the current situation, which I thought was amazing. And just like Peter Davison in this episode, the fact he got that little extended cameo was amazing, and it was so nice to see him back in his costume. When I remember seeing him at Comic-Con as well last month in costume, it's just so nice to see him back. It's just beautiful. And then for a cameo which I never expected to have again in the show whatsoever, but I love him so much, Paul McGann as the 8th Doctor. The only one not to wear robes, and I'm glad they addressed that. He has to be the one to be a little bit awkward, but having him back was amazing. Paul McGann as the 8th Doctor is so underrated in my opinion, and I'm such a big fan of his Big Finish audios. I love the TV movie, I love The Night of the Doctor, and seeing him here literally made me jump for joy. And yeah, he is such an amazing actor, and seeing him back again, just like the other Doctors, giving advice to the current Doctor was amazing, and just wearing his Night of the Doctor robe as well was superb. I loved that. But there you go, that is the end of Well, no, it's not the end of the Doctors, but it's the end of the classic Doctors, because we get a surprise return of the fugitive Doctor, played by Jo Martin, who is playing a hologram, but she's able to create a diversion which, knocks out all the Cyber Masters and obviously allows Jodie's Doctor to re-emerge from the Force regeneration, where Sasha's Master becomes the Doctor in a weird turn of events. And yeah, it's just a shame that she had such an insignificant role after her role was set up to be such a great role from Series 12. But still very nice to see Jo Martin back in the role, and I really hope we get to see her again in the future, because she always knocks it out of the park, in my opinion. Now we move on to companions. Yes, we randomly got reintroduced to Graham in the volcano. It was just such a weird surprise, but a little bit of flirtation with Ace as well. And Graham reappearing is always welcome. I love the character of Graham. Bradley Walsh does an amazing job with his comedy and his down-to-earth moments, and it's so nice to see him back in the role. And to see him there for the 13th Doctor's final moments, and to create this group of former companions talking about their time with the Doctor. And it's kind of like a survival group, but it's like they're finding common knowledge and kind of making a network and potentially working with UNIT, I think, is amazing. And this one really got me. Ian Chesterton, yes, William Russell reprising his role. He was one of the first ever companions in Doctor Who back in 1963, which was amazing to see him back. Honestly, it's just a shame that obviously we couldn't have the character of Barbara back, but it would have been nice to see Susan as well. But honestly, having Ian back, it was such a nice touch. Obviously, celebrating the BBC's 100th anniversary is just perfect, and having one of the first Doctor Who companions back is just beautiful. And seeing him back again made me jump for joy. And one of the other cameos, which you should know if you're fans of the Sarah Jane Adventures, Katie Manning playing Jo Grant again. Jo Grant is such an amazing character, one that I was introduced to from the Sarah Jane Adventures and quickly got engrossed with and enjoyed all the classic stories with Jo Grant. Katie Manning always loves Doctor Who, is always talking about it in conventions, and it's nice to see her finally able to come back to the main show. And I guess it does kind of set up a spin-off as well. I would like to see what Jo Grant has been getting up to since her appearance or reappearance in the Sarah Jane Adventures. And hey, we could even get a spin-off with all these former companions and potentially some more as well, which would be awesome. And then we've got one here, the last one we'll be covering in the video, from Mel, played by Bonnie Langford. Seeing her return was amazing. Such an amazing reappearance, and one I didn't expect. I was kind of expecting to see her in the 60th anniversary. We could still see her in the 60th anniversary, but seeing her reappear here is amazing, and I hope to see her character story continue in the future. So yeah, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. I have gone through all the cameos now that we didn't know about up until this was broadcast, and it's nice to see that, yeah, we've got so many familiar faces return for a good send-off for Jodie's Doctor, and the next video I'll be doing on the channel today will be the review of this blockbuster episode. So yeah, that being said though, thank you very much for tuning into today's video. If you are new around here, be sure to subscribe for more nerdy content, and I will see you all next time. Goodbye for now.